Welcome back to Podcast. Today we talking about Madrid, the situation that's going on at the club as a whole. I'm here with Xavier. I'm here with Ruben. Y'all know everybody. We don't gotta do this shit every time. To recap, like the timeline that's been going on at the club. So we're talking about the Clasico the other day, the Super Cup final in Qatar or Saudi Arabia, one of those Middle Eastern countries. I'm not sure where it was, but so Barca won, and usually every time Barca and Madrid play a final, traditionally whoever loses gives the winners a guard of honor. And for the first time since forever, Madrid rejected and Madrid refused to give that guard of honor. But the manager, Xabi Alonso, tried to give the guard of honor. He ordered his players to give the guard of honor, and Kylian Mbappe said, "No, we're not doing that," and they didn't do it. So
I don't.
inherently, that means
For
Kylian Mbappe
context,
already the
no,
Xabi
no,
Alonso.
for context though. For context, apparently that's not what really happened. I think it's more about how they were managing the ceremony. I think we have to look into it, but
Bro.
apparently
Bro.
Mbappe
I
was
think
down to do
the video is as clear as day, bro. And either way, bro, there's been a dilemma with Kylian Mbappe and Xabi Alonso over authority. Even if that clip is just a small like glimpse of what's been going on, that's why Xabi Alonso left. He felt like he didn't have authority over, and we know that Florentino Perez would back Mbappe over anybody. So inherently, Kylian Mbappe did have more authority than Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso leaves Real Madrid. They hire Arbeloa as an interim manager, and they lose to the team. I think Ruben said they're 17th in the second division, and they just beat Madrid 2-2. So currently speaking, they're in shambles. So my take on this before I let everybody else speak. Mbappe has been a professional for 9 to 10 years, and he's been under 9 or 10 managers, if I'm not mistaken.
it.
Mbappe got managers sacked left and right. Even if you go back to his academy days, at 17 years old, they sacked Monaco's U21 manager or whatever because he was asking Mbappe to press too much.
He's asking Mbappe to
17
do what?
He asked Mbappe to press too much at 17 years old as an academy player, trying to earn his spot in the first team. So, what this tells me is that Kylian Mbappe has been a player. And apparently, I was informed by JK, a cast member, Chelsea fan, on another episode that's coming out, that apparently when Mbappe was 13, his camp rejected Chelsea because apparently Chelsea, like they said, if my son is signing for Chelsea, he can't press and you can't ask him to do anything defensively. He's gonna have zero responsibilities defensively as a 13-year-old trying to sign for Chelsea. In 2013, Chelsea won the UCL in 2012. This 13-year-old nigga went to the European champions and said, "Yo, you want my son to sign for your U14 team, champions of Europe, one of the best academies in Europe. That nigga can't press at 13. That you can't ask him to do anything. At 17, 18, he was getting manager sacked. At PSG, he got 8 managers sacked. He iced Neymar out the team. He iced Messi out the team. Madrid were the European champions the year before Mbappe signed. Now they're losing to the team that's 17th in the second division. PSG were struggling and couldn't do anything before Mbappe left. The year he left, they won the treble. I think Kylian Mbappe is an amazing player technically. I think Kylian Mbappe has everything. He possesses everything he needs in terms of ability, in terms of capability on the football pitch to be only second best to Lamine Yamal and arguably even better than Lamine Yamal, depending on what you value in a footballer. But there's clearly an issue with up here. There's clearly an issue in terms of authority, in terms of just ego and who he thinks he is and what he represents. But to be fair, that's been fed by Monaco sacked the manager when you were 17. That boosts your ego. PSG making the president of France come and beg you to stay at the club for one more season and tell you they're going to allow you to oversee transfers, free agent signings, contracts, and salaries for other players as a player yourself. So obviously it goes both ways, but I'm done. What do y'all think about this?
Ruben, you want to go or can I go?
You can go first.
Bro, listen, man. I must have said this in like one of the first episodes I was on, but just in case the fans forgot or one of y'all niggas forgot, this is a Neymar household, okay? I'm a big fan of Neymar. All that to say that I am familiar with players that are very eccentric in a way. I'm familiar with players that it's their way or the highway. I was familiar with some of the situations and some of the stories you brought up, like him icing out Messi and Neymar at the club, him being a brat with Paris Saint-Germain, the whole stuff with the president of France, etc. But all the other details that you brought up about the youth academy, the amount of managers being sacked, the situation with Real Madrid, because I had already had feelings about that situation between him and Vinny and that whole dilemma. All of this, including the stuff that you said that you just brought to my attention, just confirms what I've always thought about Kylian Mbappe. Yes, like you said, Kylian Mbappe is one of the greatest players currently playing. He will go down as one of the greatest French players of all time. He will go down as one of the greatest strikers of this generation. But Kylian Mbappe is the most spoiled brat I have ever seen in the world of sports. Genuinely. His attitude is disgusting. And it's very French-like.
I believe that Kylian Mbappe is a player that needs everything perfect in the team that he's in to be somewhat successful. And I think
But
that's
that's
been
not how it works. It's not how it works, though.
No, I know. I'm saying I'm critiquing. Listen, I'm saying Mbappe, every team he's found great success in, the French team in 2018 where they won, Mbappe was not the best player. I already talked about that. We got to the Champions League final. Everybody with eyes and that actually understands football. There were people trying to push a narrative that Neymar was in Mbappe's shadow. Anybody knows whenever Neymar was on the pitch, he was by far better than Mbappe. Everything went through him. He made the team tick. Mbappe was so much better with Neymar than without him. Even if you want to look at stats of Mbappe with Mbappe without Neymar and Mbappe with Neymar, he has more goals. The team is much better. They would have never beat Bayern across two legs without Neymar. Mbappe could never lead that team to that. My point is that with the French team, like I said, you need the perfect right winger like Ousmane Dembele, who's probably the most selfless superstar in the history of the sport. You need the Benzema profile without the Benzema ego. Even though Benzema is that level of player that warrants that ego, you need Olivier Giroud, the most selfless player who perfectly, even though Benzema is like Olivier Giroud, but 10 times better. If Mbappe doesn't have that ego and Mbappe doesn't have so many things limiting him in terms of personality, and he can understand that and he can realize that, yo, I can play next to Benzema, bro. He just won the Ballon d'Or. He's the best player on the planet in terms of the way it looks right now. How am I trying to ice this guy out the team? It doesn't make sense.
To be fair, just to play devil's advocate, Benzema and Giroud aren't the same profile. To be honest, like Giroud is much more aerial. Like he's much more of a big body for set pieces. That is, Benzema can do that to a certain extent, but that's not his main goal. Benzema likes to drop back, likes to be involved in the play, in the build-up. You know what I mean? Giroud is not that. That's all I'm saying, just to be fair.
My point is that Mbappe is the left winger. The best profile of striker to put next to him is not a guy that runs, is not a guy that's fast. It's a presence.
No, yeah. I understand what you mean.
That can drop back and play, make, and create for him, as well as Mbappe can dominate the wing. Olivier Giroud is that, but Benzema is also that, but much better. Yes, Giroud
Yes,
has,
but it's not only just much better, it's much different as well. That's all I wanted to point out. It's much different.
It's everything Giroud gives you and more. Like you
Yes,
said,
but what Giroud gives you, he gives you a little bit less of than Giroud. That's it. Because like when you're talking about dropping back, Giroud is when he drops back, Giroud has his back to the defender. He gets the ball, brings it down from the air. Again, an aerial combat, lays it off right away. Whereas Benzema, when Benzema drops back, he's facing the defender, dribbling, passing, creating. It's different. That's all I'm saying.
okay, but I'm not even saying what you said is wrong. I'm saying you're looking too much into the details of how it works. I'm talking about, it's like I'm telling you he's a two-way player, and you're telling me, oh, yes, they're both two-way
He's
players.
interior versus perimeter. Yeah, I understand.
Other guy.
I understand.
Everything in terms of the way the team functions, they give you the same thing that Mbappe. But
Yes, I understand. I understand. You're right.
That's
I just wanted to clarify a little bit. My bad.
Yes. Griezmann's been iced out the team. Benzema's been iced out the team. Kylian Mbappe cannot lead a team to anything if it's not completely on his terms, in my opinion. And I think inherently that is holding France back. Inherently, it's holding Madrid back. It held PSG back. And like you said, I think the only way realistically that Madrid should approach the situation is bend over and fully commit to just Mbappe ball and hope that that's good enough when you see UCL, because there's no point in sitting in between and trying to manage egos as well as playing Mbappe's games. It's never gonna work. It's never going to
be Ronaldo. He's trying to be Ronaldo, but the difference is Ronaldo was actually scoring hat tricks for them to win the go far in the Champions League and win the Champions League. Ronaldo was performing.
I think you're right.
You better be scoring hat tricks like Ronaldo.
No, I think you're right when you say that he's trying to be Ronaldo and he doesn't. Like, he's trying to be Ronaldo and he's not. But you think not Ronaldo is different. In terms of performing, he actually does perform. He's outscored. Listen, Ruben, he scored the most goals from a Real Madrid player ever. Actually,
what about the big games?
Oh, they lose to Madrid, they lose to Barca, and he scored a hat trick, and they still lose. I'm not saying he doesn't hold the team back. Listen, but the reason you think he holds the team back is different. He doesn't hold the team back because he can't score as much as Ronaldo. He holds the team back because he's almost 3 times as selfish as Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a player who's not only much better, like he's all-time great, amazing goal scorer, but Ronaldo understands what he needs to win trophies. He understands that the team needs to function. He understands that the best player he can be and the most effective player he can be is when he's actually a part of a well-oiled machine that's not just fully catered to him. Mbappe thinks everything has to go through him. Even though he scores the goals, the team is just not good because you're not Messi. Bro. The only players who are actually warranted of that, where you could say, yes, running everything through him is actually the best way to go about it, is not niggas like Ronaldinho, niggas like Messi, niggas like Neymar, niggas like
Zinedine Zidane. You could say Zidane arguably. Arguably at his peak.
Maybe. But that's what I'm trying to say. Mbappe is not that level. It's not even about how good you are.
Maradona.
Play style. Yes, Maradona is the best at that. But
I disagree with that, but we've always disagreed about that.
It's not even about how good you are, though. It's about play style. Mm-hmm. And those players are always going to be the players, like James Harden said, I am the system. Those are the only types of players who can actually be a system. Mbappe is not the type of player that can be a system. Maybe he can. I mean, he got to the World Cup final and scored a hat trick as that system. But
no, but he's not the system. He's just a scorer. He's not the system. He's not the engine of the team. He's not the heartbeat of the team.